Hello and welcome to Empire of War Games. My name is Eplash and this is the third video in my series called Combat Patrol Analysis, where we go over the new Combat Patrol boxes which replace the current start collecting ones. We will analyze the financial value for casual and competitive games, as well as look back at the old start collecting boxes to try and have a constructive discussion if the Combat Patrol boxes are a step forward or if they fail to deliver. What you see on the screen right now are the prices for each individual unit and the savings with and without upgrade sprues. And I rechecked 5 times if everything is right, because this box has an insane savings of 43%, which is a lot because of the impulsor alone, I think. Also, if you buy from a third-party retailer, you are going to get closer to 50% savings, which is actually insane. Funnily enough, if you are starting out a non-melee chapter for Space Marines and want a box to start with, this is the best box out of the 3 we analyzed and reviewed. It would make the other 2 boxes obsolete unless you want exactly what's in the other 2 boxes. You could go out and buy 2 of them and you'd be set for every unit in the box except Intercessors, since you generally want more than 10 of them if you're not playing a melee chapter, as I said. Having 2 librarians can come in handy for sure, especially if you are playing a chapter with a good psychic discipline, like for example Salamanders. And since this is a box for Blood Angels, I will go over Blood Angels rules in a bit, but my recommendations for chapters that work with this box are actually completely different. The first chapter I would recommend are Salamanders because of their obvious good psychic discipline and Flamestormer aggressors, which are amazing in 9th, especially with their new improved 12-inch range. I know aggressors got nerfed, but all in all, Flamestorm aggressors are still really scary. The second one are Imperial Fists because there is a lot of bolter going on if you build the aggressors with Boltstorm gauntlets. The Impulsor has Storm bolters and even the Librarian has a bolt pistol. The last chapter I would recommend are Ultramarines because of their sheer flexibility. Especially on smaller Combat Patrol boards, having the luxury of pulling back with your aggressors and shooting at -1 is great if you are fighting against hordes or low toughness models. Alright, so this next part is the part everyone is expecting me to say. No, this box does not feel like a Blood Angels Combat Patrol army at all. The only models that are able to do respectable things in melee are the aggressors and the Librarian, or if you build your Intercessors as Death Company. And let's be honest, you'd rather protect the Librarian since he's your buffer and he's the reason you are getting command points each turn. And I'm not sure what GW was thinking here. Like in the Space Wolves box, I understand that the full Assault Intercessors kit was brand new and they generally dislike putting really new things into discount boxes, but I honestly would prefer the regular 10-man squad from Indomitus over the Incursors and Intercessors for Blood Angels specifically. Melee units would also work great with the Impulsor that's in the box, but oh well. With that out of the way, let's try and make this list work for Blood Angels to the best of our ability. Next, this box has the exact same problem I had with the Space Wolves Combat Patrol. This box is 535 points or 28 power level if you just add all the model space without customizing anything. As far as I know, there is no way to play this box with every model and pushing them below the 500 point mark or 25 power level, which confuses me. Should I just assume that the boxes are meant to be played at 530 points or at 550 points? It's such an odd number. More points per money spent is always good, but this confuses me slightly. Anyway, let's get to the meat of the video. Okay, I lied. I have a small little disclaimer. Here's my problem with this box. If you don't build your Intercessors as Death Company, you have nothing to put into the Impulsor. Having less OPSEC is bad though, but having an Impulsor just using 2 Storm bolters is bad as well. That's why I decided to go with the Death Company and a 550 point list in total, just so you know. Okay, first up we have the Primaris Librarian. Now here that is the point where I would say, okay, Blood Angels players, grab the melee-orientated psychic powers if your intent is to buff melee units, which is usually the case with Blood Angels. Examples would be Quickening for reroll advance and charge, or Unleash the Rage for extra hits on 6s, which are both amazing psychic powers. But this is not a very melee focused list except the Death Company, so let's try to make the best out of what we have. On a side note though, I think for a chapter that has a lot to do with psychic powers, their updated quote-unquote psychic discipline is very lackluster in the new supplement. Either way, here is my Primaris Librarian build as I would recommend it. He's your warlord, so he has the Shield of Sanguinius psychic power, just to make sure you can keep your OBSEC Marines alive, the ones you have. Unleash the Rage, because your Death Company has an insane amount of attacks in the assault phase, approximately 31, which means 5 additional attacks per attack phase from this power if everything works out perfectly, admittedly. And I decided to go for Gillian's Staff because of the stratagem Spiritual Mind, which allows you to manifest 1 additional psychic power for 1 CP, and thus allows you to cast everything you have on your list, 2 of which are Blood Angel specific psychic powers, so you get +1 for those, which are Shield of Sanguinius and Unleash the Rage. As I said in the disclaimer, I'm going to go ahead and recommend you to paint your intercessors black and give them the Assault Mortar, while using the upgrade sprue to give the Death Company with melee weapon his chainsword. Let's break it down. For example, we are assuming that you are in your assault phase and you have just charged. That would mean that a single Death Company model has 6 attacks. 3 attacks regularly, 1 from Black Rage, 1 from Savage Echoes, and 1 from Shock Assault. And your Death Company with melee weapon even has an attack extra because of the chainsword you gave him out of the Blood Angel's upgrade sprue. So you put the Death Company into the Impulsor together with the Librarian, drive them up to the middle of the field, and shoot for a turn or 2 before you charge in. You usually want to wait for your assault phase, since that's when your Death Company is most effective. Your Incursors will be on an objective at the start of the game. Put them behind cover and try to enable them to shoot as much as possible before they are going to get confronted in melee. There's not much else to say, since we don't have any goodies like Haywire Mines or anything else. Keep in mind that this unit ignores any and all hit or ballistic skill modifiers, so anything negative gets ignored. In this list, the aggressors will be probably going by themselves and are equipped with Flamestorm gauntlets because of points. And let's be honest, these boys are probably going to tank a turn of 2 or shooting before they get to their destination, but it is what it is. You could try to make use of cover or use your Impulsor as a mobile wall for them, which I actually recommend doing. And that's where we come to the Impulsor. It has exactly 2 roles: being a huge obstacle to guard your aggressors, carry around your Death Company and your Librarian, and lastly, which is not really a role, it shoots a little bit. It has 2 Storm Bolters, but it's whatever. Even the carrying around is debatable, since you can't cast psychic powers out of a vehicle, and your Death Company would really rather prefer to shoot and wait until the Assault Doctrine goes online before attacking and destroying everything in their way. The Impulsor gets really useful in higher point games, but here it is really difficult to make it work, to be completely honest. If you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. I'm curious what you think about the Impulsor as a unit in general for lower point games, because in higher point games I do see the value. On smaller combat patrol sized boards I don't really know where to go with it. And that's the whole game plan. The setup was very long, but the execution is very short. Put your Librarian and Death Company into the Impulsor and drive it up to the midfield and disembark your units to shoot with them and cast some psychic powers for a turn or 2 while sitting on an objective. Set up your Incursors on another objective and have them shoot as much as possible before the Assault Doctrine. And advance your aggressors and ideally use your Impulsor as a wall. That's it. Now to the All-Star collecting box, which is really basic and doesn't support angels either. These poor guys have a really terrible time with theme boxes for them. 1 Terminator Captain, which is really basic and doesn't really do a whole lot for the Blood Angel theme in my honest opinion. It's a cool model though. 10 Tactical Marines, which also have the same problem as the core units in a new Combat Patrol box. They are not melee orientated and thus not interesting for Blood Angels. And a Bald Predator, which is a Blood Angel specific tank, and it was actually one of my favorite models back in the day and it's still great. And the only model I really like out of this start collecting box, because it's really thematic, it fits the Blood Angel theme, and it's still great rules wise. And yeah, but you can also just buy it separately. I'd even argue that this start collecting was worse when it comes to the units included for Blood Angel specifically, to be completely honest. All right, next to the 750 point upgrades, I have two for you guys this time. This video will be a little long, so thanks for sticking through. The first upgrade is the same as the Space Wars one. Get the box of Assault Intercessors and equip the Sergeant with a weapon according to how many points you have left, up to 750. If you build the Intercessors as regular Intercessors, for example, you should have enough points to build a Sergeant with a Thunder Hammer, which is really scary. The second recommendation, and this is my personal favorite, is 6 Blade Guard Veterans. I know you can't buy them quite just yet, but they will be available very soon according to Games Workshop. And if you really want them, you can find them on eBay right now as well. So why 6? Number one, obviously because they're sold in packs of 3, but also because exactly 6 models fit into the Impulsor, and these guys are not Gravis armor units, so they fit in there, and getting them into melee is exactly what you want to do if it's the Assault Doctrine or not, and the Impulsor is going to do just that. So they fit perfectly in the list. They are amazing units. They are tanky, hard to shift, and they blend. They really do a whole lot of damage. They are some of my personal favorite units, also visually. They are a joy to paint. And yeah, just great units all around. This is actually the list I recommend, but Assault Intercessors are also universally very useful, so go with what your gut tells you. Conclusion time. I think this box is amazing for the 3 chapters I mentioned: Salamanders, Imperial Fists, and Ultramarines. And even has value for new players that want to go a more competitive route, because the units in there are just very good. But for Blood Angels, this box is... it just doesn't feel very Blood Angels, and it's really not. So if you're just starting out, if you're a completely new Space Marine player and you want to start a Space Marine army, and you want to start Blood Angels specifically, you can go for this box, because you will have a use for ranged units as well. Because yes, you can play Blood Angels as a melee focused or melee only army, but having a mix of the two is usually best. So you can do it. I would usually recommend it to other chapters though. Yeah, if you play one of the 3 other recommended chapters, just go for it. You can even go and buy 2 of the boxes. You can't go wrong with any of the units there. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching the whole thing. If you want to support what I do, go to my Twitter and follow. You can subscribe and comment here, or give a thumbs up or down, depending on if you like the video or not. Just so the algorithm knows that you actually interact with the video and enjoy watching. You can also join my Discord server and hang out and talk Warhammer with me if you want. And yeah, I see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.